pretty bad at holding ourselves accountable. Having something like a social accountability or a partner type accountability, the magnitude that it helps us is insane. We have some built-in redundancies in our own system, like to be on some of our calls, you have to fill out a really short form of basically, what is your success rate right now? Where are you with your trading? And as long as you do that, then you get a password for the call. It's super simple, super easy, but every single time that we've met resistance with that ideology of I don't need to do that, I'm different, it's always because they're not following the rules, they're not being held accountable, and they're also not winning, and there's a shame that comes with that because they know that they did wrong. It's like, hey, we're not here to shame you, we're here to get you back on. And so we want to get you better. So if it's struggling and you don't want to say anything, that's at your own detriment. Yes, we want you to be successful. That's why we're doing this. And so we need that equal transition, interaction and communication, that support system, the community, the camaraderie that comes from trading and learning and having other eyes on your trades. And so that you have insights that you would otherwise not see and experience that you otherwise don't have. And coming together is, it goes to say it's probably the most important facet of someone's trading is their ability to plug in with other traders and other people, because we've seen other really amazing strategies. We've seen other really great systems, but what we have not seen in the common marketplace is a great support system. And so people who are coming, who have been trying for a long time to get their trading up and going, what are they missing? It's the support, the community. You don't know what you don't know. And typically someone knows. And so how can we come together and join? Kind of the big question. That's the point of the prosperity movement, is the movement of people to get that momentum.
So what are the secrets? How do some of the most successful entrepreneurs find the freedom that we all got into business for in the first place? How did they find the time, energy, and resources to launch and scale strong? And how do entrepreneurs like us align our time, money, and energy in a way that will allow us to reach what we set out to achieve? These are the key questions, and this community will give you the answers. Welcome to the Prosperity Movement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Prosperity U podcast. This is where we like to shed some light on the world of trading and how to trade more effectively and how to trade with more consistency. And so today we're actually going to talk a little bit about how to build a support system that creates consistent trading success regardless of the market's ups and downs. Support system is really the name of the game, right? So like if you imagine a world-class athlete training all alone, right? No coach, no team, no support system, it's just not going to work out very well. It sounds pretty crazy, but believe it or not, that's typically what happens with traders, right? They're just doing it all by themselves. So the last few podcasts, we've talked a lot about treating your trading as a business. This is a concept that James introduced to us a long time ago, and we're heating it, and we're using an outline that we've developed that our whole community is getting access to bit by bit. They don't even know it because we're releasing little concepts and things to them as we go. But by treating your trading like a business, you're going to get consistent results instead of like a hobby where you're just up and down all over the place. And so part of that, a business has something called human resources, right? And so we have kind of our own version of that with our own support systems. So what would you say, Brian, is the number one reason that people have losses in trading?
Well, I think everybody's aware it's very much a lack of discipline. So I know we attract a lot of people. Like, this is a constant conversation I have. Like, we attract a couple of different kinds of people here. One is the newcomer to trading because they saw our ad and they're like, hey, that sounds cool. But mostly we attract experienced people that have been doing this for a long time or for a few years or what have you, and they're not where they want to be. And they're frustrated. they're dealing with more losses than they are wins. Is more like a gambling thing for them. Like not, and then you got the break even warriors because it's like they're so scared. And they found a way to break even somehow, to be consistent with breaking even and just not getting ahead with it. But ultimately, that's because they're jumping on the charts day in and day out, and they're not clear on what they're supposed to be doing or what they're not supposed to be doing, and or they are, but they're breaking their rules, and they are living on the high of the last win, but having more losses than they are wins, but still living off of that high, knowing that, but dealing with that frustration because they're this like I went in there and they got, let's say they'll have a big day of maybe like 100 pips or something like that. They feel really good about that. But then somewhere deep down inside, they also know that they didn't do that in a way that it was processed, if you will. And so then they're already in this cycle of breaking process. And so they're cheating their way to get those bigger wins and then having a lot more losses. They don't even know what their hold percentage is, right?
Yeah.
They have no idea what their hold percentage is. And if you don't know what your hold percentage is, like again, you can have a 70% win rate and still be losing because you don't know how to manage a trade properly. And there's just so many things. Again, we have 16 points of measurement here that most traders are completely unaware of. And those 16 points of measurement actually help you to measure and manage. What gets measured gets managed. Measure and manage like a business so that you're not gambling anymore. You are actually running a reputable business through online trading.
Yeah. So real quick to answer Kaylee's question here, what are pips? So if you're not super familiar with the trading industry, so a pip is essentially a movement in the price of whatever market you're looking at. So if you're looking at the NASDAQ, or if you're looking at the Dow, or if you're looking at a currency pair, every movement of the decimal place, in most cases, sometimes it depends on which decimal place, depending on what market you're looking at. But for the most part, every movement of the price, that's one pip. And so as traders, we get to assign a value to that pip. We call it our stake or our lot size. And so you could say $1 per pip. So if you got 10 pips in a trade, that means you got $10, right? Or you could do $50 a pip, etc. So that's kind of a general gist of what a pip is. So what
and
Brian,
I like the way that James explains it though too. Is it's like, again, because like you've got different, when you start learning about short-term trading versus long-term trading, when you're looking at scalping and when you're looking at swing trading. So scalping being short-term, swing trading being long-term trading. You can be looking at just kind of like miles per hour or kilometers per hour, depending on if you're in the States or here in Canada, right? Like that pip movement is based on candle time. So are you looking at a 1 minute candle, in which case you're probably scalping? Are you looking at a 5 minute, which means we're going into a little bit higher of a time frame? Are you looking at a 30-minute candle? You're looking at an hour candle? You're looking at a daily candle? You're looking at a weekly? You can look at a monthly? You can look at a yearly candle. Okay, so like when you understand those things, it's how many pips within that time frame. So within a minute, if it moves 10 pips at $1 per pip, that's $10. If it moves 10 pips at $100 per pip, that's $1,000. Right. And so we have students all across the board within our community that are staking anything from 10 cents. Some are doing a penny pip at starting just to get comfortable, to all the way up to, we've got guys that are on professional level with James, like trusting James, have special European brokers that allow them up to 20-pound lot sizes, which is closer to $300 lot sizes. So $300 at 10 pips for 10 pip. Oof, that's getting juicy, right? And we don't recommend that anybody goes on that high level, even if you're rich, because we do actually attract a lot of doctors, lawyers, a lot of professionals, a lot of people, actually even millionaires are coming into here. We got people that are back against the wall over here. No matter where you are, we still suggest that people don't start with a huge amount. that you got to treat it like going to the gym. You're not going to deadlift 500 pounds on day one. You got to what gets measured, gets managed, get comfortable. So we tell people don't start with anything more than $500 to $1,000 in your account. Some start with as little as 50.
Yeah. And just for clarity, Brian, you just said some people in the professional level, they trade at 20 pounds per pip, which is about $300. He meant to say
200.
200 pounds.
Did I say 20?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I said 20.
Yeah.
200 pounds, 200 pounds per pip. Sorry. We have guys that trust, and typically I think most brokers will only go up to 50 pound per pip or $75 pips or per pip per stake. What is the normal?
It oftentimes depends on the account balance too. So the higher your account balance, they might give you a little higher. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So the more money you have in the account, the more that you can stake.
Yeah.
But that has a big thing to do with it. But then also there are actual special brokers that you can get once you get to a certain level. James has a special broker.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different conversation for another day.
Right.
Hope that answers your question about pips there, Kaylee.
So trading. So one of the things you said there, Brian, and something that's very common when we're talking to people who are interested in or committed to joining with us, I like to ask them, what do you think is the biggest reason that somebody doesn't win or somebody loses in the markets? And a lot of times they say things like their technical analysis needs to be better and those kinds of things. And although I feel like everyone can improve on that front, probably the number one thing is definitely the emotional human side to trading. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes we're battling things like fear. Brian mentioned sometimes you're scared of making a trade because you experienced a sting in the past. Sometimes we're trading with greed or sometimes a lack of confidence or self-doubt. Those human aspects of trading are typically the number one leading cause of a loss in the markets. So Travis,
it's all psychological. If you go into a fight believing you're scared and you don't think you're going to win, chances of you winning are probably pretty slim. But if you prepared for that fight and you went through everything you needed to get ready for that fight, then no reason for you not to knock them cold.
Right, exactly. So Travis, how can this concept of human resources in a business or in the trading world, how can that help somebody overcome those human flaws?
Well, probably first and foremost, we're as a people, we're pretty bad at holding ourselves accountable. Having something like a social accountability or a partner type accountability or anything, just the magnitude that it helps us is insane. Like, even just down to, I want to start going to the gym, but I've never really been able to start getting that habit, right? If you were to post it in all of your social media and tell all of your friends and say, hey, I'm going to do this. My goal is to lose 10 pounds in the next couple months or something. You think you're going to hold yourself accountable a little bit better than if you were just like to say, I think I'm going to try it tomorrow. And it's only in your head. Well, that social accountability and stuff is really important. In fact, we have some built-in redundancies in our own system, like to be on some of our calls. You have to fill out a really short form of basically, what is your success rate right now? Where are you with your trading? And as long as you do that, then you get a password for the call. It's super simple, super easy. But every single time that we've met resistance with that ideology of or someone's ideology, I don't need to do that, I'm different. It's always because they're not following the rules, they're not being held accountable, and they're also not winning. And there's a shame that comes with that because they know that they did wrong. It's like, hey, we're not here to shame you. We're here to get you back on track.
I was just going to say, shame.
Public shame. So we're not here to do that. We're here to get you on track. And that accountability, it's not because look, at the end of the day, your account balance doesn't matter to us as far as like, I mean, we want you to be doing great, like, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect us, right? And so we want to get you better. So if it's struggling and you don't want to say anything, that's at your own detriment. That's not our detriment, right?
Yeah.
So let us know. We're not going to pick on you and make fun of you and oust you in publicly, right? But that's the thing.
I just want to make clear though, too, just so it's not misconstrued here, because like we do care about your balance. We do want you to be wildly successful, but the only way that we can do that is if you like, If you
all
don't
I'm saying
ask,
is
you
that at the end
don't
of the
get.
day,
If you don't ask for help, we can't help you, right? Like if you
yeah.
hide it,
So
there's
at the
nothing
end
that
of the
can be done.
day, my ability to go buy my groceries is not going to reflect from your bank account and your trading
Hmm.
account, right? So like at the end of yes, we want you to be successful. We want you to have everything that we have ourselves. That's why we're doing this, right? But if you refuse to have accountability in that, that doesn't affect my life, right? And so we need that equal transition between our interaction and communication that comes from the human resources side of things. And now let's kind of get away from the HR side, because that's not literally what we're talking about here.
Right.
Is that support system, the community, the camaraderie that comes from trading with other people, that and learning and having other eyes on your trades, and so that you have insights that you would otherwise not see, and experience that you otherwise don't have. And coming together is, I mean, it goes to say it's probably the most important um, facet of someone's trading, is their ability to plug in with other traders and other people, because we've seen other really amazing strategies, we've seen other really great systems, okay, but what we have not seen in the common marketplace is a great support system. And so people who are coming, who have been trying for a long time to get their trading up and going, what are they missing? It's typically not a strategy or a system, it's the support, the community, the human resource aspect, if you will, of actually coming together and making things full circle, right? So
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know. And
Yeah.
typically someone knows. Everyone that you look at, every single person you ever seen in your life is one knows something you don't know and is better than you at something that you do as well. Like
Yeah.
you have to look at it that way. And so how can we come together and join, is kind of the big question. That's the point of the prosperity movement, right? Is
Yeah.
the movement of people to get that momentum, right? So
There's two layers there's two layers that also kind of stick out to me with what you were sharing there. Like, so again, like where you were explaining the concept of the groceries and whether or not that affects others, like kind of like again with a personal trainer at the gym, whether or not you show up is not going to change whether or not he gets paid, right? Because you made an agreement that you were going to show up for your personal trainer. If you don't show up for him, that's not going to change. It's not going to affect his life. What it will do, though, is it's going to affect your life and also the people that you love, right? So we are here. Our mission is very simply to help people across the nations, help families across the nations, to press them together and to help them drive more impact and income so they can do more of the things they love with the people they love most. In order for you to have that come to fruition in your life, we've found that anything worth anything, you don't actually get proficient at without proper guidance, even in the workplace, even in the marketplace. If you have a 9 to 5 job, no matter what position you have, you don't typically take over a position without somebody guiding you through that. And so you can go to YouTube University all you want, but then all the best of luck with that as you transition to actually become proficient and professional. Without proper guidance and being guided through that process, you can try and get all the education you want in the world. But again, you don't know what you don't know has been mentioned, and there's nothing more frustrating. And anybody who has experience understands this. And I could ask guys like Leighton, I could ask guys like Guy, I could ask guys across the board within this community. Have you ever been in front of the markets where you felt like you did everything right and it's still not working? That's called a blind spot that you're not aware of, and that somebody needs to help you see so you can make proper adjustments and fix the problem and become proficient. And so that's your HR department over here, is that we're to help you see those blind spots so that you can become proficient in your business and become profitable.
100%. And it's more than just with us too. Like we have a community, right? So like recently I had speaking of Guy, Guy and Shane trading plans. So Guy was looking at Shane's trading plan, and really the question that I wanted them to ask is, could I take this document and could I trade proficiently and consistently? Right. And Shane with Guy's plan, like, hey, can I take this and trade proficiently and consistently? And if the answer is no, like that you had some questions, well, that's the whole point of the exercise, is that your plan is just not detailed enough. Right. And so you got to be a little more specific. for certain scenarios and situations in the markets. So the community itself is a wonderful, wonderful place to go. And even if you're struggling a little bit, the community is a great place, resource where someone can say, "Hey, I've been there, and this is how I overcame it. This is something that I did." Right. And it's just awesome to have a whole community behind you, rooting for you and helping you out. But of course, we have our own coaches and mentors, including James. We have a lot of available systems and processes to help you get consistent and trade very proficiently. So, should we dive into kind of like what those look like? Because we have several.
Sure. Which one are you referring to?
I mean, all of them.
We got 9 minutes.
Okay,
You go,
so
you go.
I'll make it pretty quick here. So we've got James Leone does group trading sessions where we can hop on with him, watch him trade, watch him analyze the market, listen to what he's saying, and really just start to soak in that level of a trader, because he's by far the best trader we have, right? Bar none. So it's always good to listen to somebody who is
As at now, we have
So
many
far.
we have many Yodas coming up that I like again, and we say that within his organization and so before he partnered with us, he has a handful of guys that again are trusting him and at higher stakes. So within our community, there are some bigger fishes that are making more, but we would still call James Yoda for sure.
Yes. Yes. So you can hop on with him 3 or 4 times a week and trade, which is absolutely fantastic. And then just in case someone has some extra struggles, I also do private trading sessions, little groups of 3 to 5 people, and we trade. And it's a little bit more of an intimate setting, so they can ask questions. It's a little more interactive, and that's been super helpful. Not to brag, I've been doing pretty good with my trading. Actually, I looked at my stats this morning. Turns out I'm averaging about 100% a month. So in terms of account growth, so over the last 5 months, I'm up 500%. And so does that mean I never lose? No, I definitely have losses in there, right? But that's including those. So I've gotten better and better over the months. And so I want to pass that on as much as I can. We also have
Where the heck can you get 100% growth in a month anywhere else? I don't know where that exists.
nowhere. That's insane.
I just don't know where that exists.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. And
Well,
then
that's the difference between the concept of compound interest and compounding your accounts rather than going and, because someone's thinking, well, my stocks don't go up that much. They only went up 4%. This one did 20%. This one did, it's like, well, you're buying and holding one thing for a long time. So over that year that it went up that, 5-10% or whatever, or even, I mean, not that all stocks go up, right? But you're holding it for that long a time. We only hold them for a short duration. So that in those micro movements, we're in and out. And so we've compounded then that single day, whatever that percent may be. If you're doing 100%, then, we can do the math and figure out what that looks like on a day-to-day basis. And so every day you're gaining that percent, whereas somebody else is just expecting the market to keep going up, which is we're seeing right now. That is not what's going on. So anyone listening, if you're curious about the pips and stuff, right? They make us a profit when the markets go up and when they go down. It's kind of a crazy concept, but we bet against the market basically is how that works. And so if you were to be in a traditional investment, then typically as the markets go down, so does your portfolio. But when you're going in and you're in and out, of course, when those markets go down, you're doing a specific way of trading, and then you'll make profit in that as well. And so, people are oftentimes have asked me over the years, Travis, what do you think about the inflation and the recessions and stuff that we have recessions all the time. Like people don't realize that they happen all the time. Okay. So the recessions, the inflation and everything, I was like that, those are concepts that are not necessarily the part of this type of income, right? Because as the recession hits, you're thinking about stocks and other investments and general stuff like that. Whereas for us, we love when the markets tank. And we love when they go up. Bearish or bullish doesn't matter. We love both of those.
We just want the movement.
the movement is great. And so, the markets are tanking, people are stressed, and we're sitting here popping champagne bottles. Not exactly. He doesn't even touch coffee, but anyways, like we're having a great time with this market.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So that's kind of generally some of the support options. We have some other things too, but the other
And
things,
the one-on-one support for those that get truly stuck is an
one-on-one
important piece to
support.
understand. Yeah.
Yep, we have a couple of other extra group calls and stuff like that. However, the other asset that we have that's huge is our accountability system. So our traders, at least the ones that are following the process, they submit their trades to us. So they, at the end of the day or at the end of the session, or if you're doing pretty well, we just say, look, just once a week, just tell us how you did in the week, But they tell us like how many pips they gained, or if it's not a good day, how many pips they lost. So that way we can actually go in and we can see what they traded, when they traded, and look at their trading plan and see, was this a great thing? Was this an emotional decision, or was it calculated? Right. And so we can actually go into that, and now we can figure out what exactly is their blind spot so that we can hold them accountable to the decisions they're making in the market. That, bar none, has been the greatest impact for our community compared to any other trading education company out there.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah. I just don't know where you're going to get that kind of support where you follow that. And like, I talk with people all the time here as we're going to tie this right up, but people, ask like, how long does it take for you to get back to me if I reach out for support? Well, first of all, if it's the weekend, you're waiting till Monday because we spend time with our families, right? Like we're a family company. But 5 days a week, it's typically within 24 hours. That same day, more times than not, that you get responded to. And here's the thing: if you make that submission and it comes back to us, we get notified when it's not being profitable, or we get notified when it's not what it needs to be. So then our coaches reach out to you. I just don't know where that exists anywhere else as that
Right.
now, from my understanding. So yeah,
Absolutely.
powerful.
So
And we got tons of. Sorry, do you want me to tie it up?
you go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and tie it up. So first of all, we're really excited. Now, there's really never been a better time than now to jump in. We have some exciting news at some point. Some developments that are happening. Can't go into all the details, but what I will say is that it looks like we are having some outside leadership coming in, larger organizations seeing what we're doing, and looks like a potential. We'll see, but it's very, very strong in locking with the mission, vision, values, and it's looking like we may have a potential partnership collaboration happening where we're going to be able to reach a lot more people here very soon. And we already have about 35 people coming in a day, 1,400 a month, just under 17,000 a year. What does that mean? That means that we are trying to help as many people as we possibly can, and it's the ones that are committed and coachable that are getting the absolute best incentives and getting the best accountability and support. And so what that means is the ones, the action takers right now that are locking in. We do have a legacy program right now. What that means is you get literally like lifetime membership, grandfathered. And this is something that is really powerful because we're talking about maybe a year's membership of having like a personal trainer, the equivalent of value to that. We've made it attainable for the average Joe and Jane on a monthly basis to be able to take care of this, so long as their credit score is above 650. And you get access to all of that with a literal grandfathered approach. So again, a yearly membership, going to a gym, getting a gym membership, and a personal trainer is what we're talking about. The investment looks like right now, where you get to lock that in. We don't know how long that's going to be for at this point. It's slated to go up. There's never been a better time than now. So highly encourage you to go to prosperitymovement.online. There's a little chat bubble at the bottom right hand of the screen. Go in there, ask for the blueprint. Super simple. Subject line blueprint. Just send blueprint. We'll send you the blueprint for your due diligence process and prepare you for your success, and lock in a time with our team as soon as possible. Take it seriously. Show up. Those who show up grow up.
Right on. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you here next week. Adios.
Adios. Bye, guys.
Bye for now.